Hello, welcome back. I told you I'd be posting more videos. You didn't believe me, but here I am again. Today is going to be a little different. We're not doing random thoughts so much today, it's just random things. So one of the things that I love to do in my free time is bake. I know I'm 24 years old, and this is like something grandmas do, but no, it's so much fun. It's awesome. You get all this delicious stuff. I honestly like to bake more than I like to eat it. I mean, not saying I don't like to eat it, but I don't bake all this stuff for myself because I couldn't eat the whole thing. So a lot of times I take it to class. Everybody loves it. Who doesn't love getting random homemade baked goods? And it's so much easier than people think. So I'm going to a Halloween party tonight or tomorrow night that one of my friends is hosting, and I thought it would be nice if I could bring like Halloween themed cookies. So yesterday I picked up some cookie cutters, 50 cents. 50 cents for a cookie cutter at Michael's. I got two. I got a pumpkin and a ghost. So really easy, super easy. So I'm going to show you how to make super simple dough, so you don't have to buy the tubes of cookie dough at the store if you want to make cookies. You can do it your own. It's really, really easy. So here we go. So this recipe comes from my favorite cookbook, My Joy of Cooking. I highly recommend it if anyone thinking about baking. I mostly use it for baking, but it has so many recipes in it. But you don't even need to do that. You can find really any recipe you want on the internet, Google anything you can think of, and you'll find a million of them. The hardest part is choosing which one you want to use. But this is where this one comes from. I like to make my own recipes. Well, I like to make variations on it, but in this case, this is a simple, classic, just going to do the plain old one from the book. So I did a little bit of prep work, but honestly it took about 5 minutes, so don't think that I'm like cheating you by making this look way easier than it is. All you're going to need for this, like I said, super simple, 2.5 cups of sifted all-purpose flour. Now, if you don't have a sifter, in case you're wondering, this is a sifter. They are really cheap if you want to get one at a home goods store, but if you don't want to get one or you just don't feel like sifting flour, because honestly sometimes I don't, measure out 2.5 cups of flour, whisk, it's fine. It'll usually work out. And oh, here's a tip for measuring flour. A lot of times people will scoop out the flour and then kind of shake it level. That's actually not a great way to measure flour because it causes the flour to settle in the measuring cup and it throws it off from what people use as measurements when they make recipes. So the best way to do it is to scoop in the flour and then take a knife or anything, really, I use a butter knife, and just scrape off the top, just level it off. And that right there is like the true cup that they used when they made the recipe, so it'll turn out better if you measure your flour that way. Alright, so 2.5 cups of sifted all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I like to use very generous teaspoons of vanilla, a little over, just because I really love vanilla and I like to amp up the flavor a little bit. 2 eggs, 2 large eggs, plain old eggs, and a stick of butter. Now, butter needs to be softened to make it in the cookie recipe, and if you don't feel like if you haven't thought ahead and you're like let the butter sit out to kind of soften at room temperature, super easy to do it in the microwave. Pop it in on this side, 9 seconds, turn it over, 9 more seconds, it'll be soft enough to work with. And it won't have melted. You do not want your butter to melt when you're softening it. And then last, half cup of brown sugar. You can use white sugar as well for this one. I prefer brown sugar, it has a little bit more flavor, I think. Now I'm going to be using my mixer. I love my mixer, but you don't need a mixer. I just got this one a couple months ago, and goodness knows I've made cookies for a long, long time before that. So all it takes is a mixing bowl and a wooden spoon if you don't have it this way. So, oh, and with these cookies, before you can roll them out and cut them out, you need to refrigerate them for about 3 hours. So you have to think ahead a little bit if you want to do this, and if you don't refrigerate them, it's not going to work out. So don't think you're going to cheat and just make the dough and then immediately roll it out and make the cookies. You're going to have to build some time in there. But it just has to sit in the fridge. You can do whatever you want, which is why this is perfect for a Sunday. Like for me, I'm going to make the dough right now, go study for a little bit because I have a test tomorrow, and then come back and actually bake the cookies. All right, so first thing we do, we're going to cream together the sugar. Let me pop a light on for you. All right, so we just need to cream together the sugar and the butter. So there goes my sugar. Wow, I packed that a little hard. There it comes out. And my nice softened butter, remember 9 seconds each side in the microwave for this. You don't even have to turn it on low, just use it on its normal setting. Maybe use a spatula to help poke it out of there. Alright. Cream these together. If you're using a mixer, I like to cream on That's most annoying to do by hand. But like I said, totally doable. I've done it 1,000 times by hand. Alright. It's always a good idea to kind of get the sides of the bowl. The rubber spatula. I wish there was a way to get me in here. I'm too tall. And that's not a new problem for me. Alright. Cream a little bit more. My mixer's name is Persephone, by the way, in case you're wondering. Yes, I name my kitchen appliances. That is totally normal. So I will tell myself. Alright, that is pretty good. Now literally, all you have to do at this point is add the rest of those ingredients and mix it together. So that will be the 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Boom, in we go. The 2 eggs. Where did I put those? Here we go. Egg 1. If you want, a lot of times people will crack their eggs into a different container before putting it into the bowl, because if you're not the best egg cracker and you get shells in, then it's a lot easier to pick them out before you do it in the bowl. And goodness knows you do not want shells in your cookies. I don't usually do that because I think I'm a pretty expert egg cracker as far as that goes. Alright, so then the salt, the baking powder, mind you, not baking soda, there's a difference, and then the flour. In we go, down we go, and now I like to mix. Start out just on stir, because I don't want the flour to go poofing everywhere, which you can do that if you turn it on too high at first. And once it starts to come together a little bit, you can turn it up for sure and mix things a little bit better. Alright, the dough was a little crumbly at first, but keep mixing it. It comes together into a nice dough. And you know, you're just going to want to put this on plastic wrap. Plastic wrap, great stuff to have in your kitchen. I find it annoying as hell, so I usually just use scissors instead of trying to bother with cutting it off in the box, which never ever seems to work for me. So, don't feel ashamed if you have to pull out the scissors to use your plastic wrap. Happens to the best of us. Alright. Turn this off. Woo, look at that. Big hunk of dough. Alright. Just poke that poke that right off the mixer. Came together nicely. I know this has raw eggs in it, but I like to sneak a taste. How will I know if I messed it up? Accidentally used salt instead of sugar. Alright. So I'm just going to dump this onto the plastic wrap. Let's try it again. Still good. Alright. Perfect. Just kind of lump this together. And remember, you're going to be rolling it out later, so I kind of like to make it a little bit into sort of a disc to kind of ease that process later. Kind of pack it together, punch it down, wrap, make sure every bit of it is covered. Alright, excellent. This is going in the fridge for 3 hours. Alright, it has been 3 hours. Actually, it's been a little more, but it doesn't matter. You can refrigerate for a lot longer than 3 hours. If, for example, you want to make the dough and then not make the cookies for a while. But it's been about 4 hours. Here's my dough, nice and chilled. I'm out of the fridge. Preheat your oven, 375 degrees, what you're going to need. You're going to need a workspace for this. Now, I like to use my marble slab because I keep it in the fridge, it gets nice and cold. It's a really great surface, smooth surface to work on. But you don't need it at all. Any old counter space will do. You just need it to be clean, dry, and flat. Now, usually if you're going to be working with a dough or something on a counter space, you're going to flour the surface, right? Well, you don't want to add too much extra flour to these cookies. So, what you should use instead to keep the dough from sticking is powdered sugar. It works just as well. It's got that same sort of, tendency to keep the dough from sticking. And won't add any extra flour to bring. Alright, so I have my rolling pin. Gonna put a little bit of powdered sugar on it so that it doesn't stick to my dough. And start to roll. Now, mind you, the dough's been in the fridge for a while, so it's going to be a little difficult to roll out at first. But that is just fine. You just need to use a little bit of elbow grease, work with it. Now, when you're rolling out the dough, you definitely want to make sure, one, you don't need to do all of it at one time. I'm only going to do about half of mine at a time. And two, you want to make sure you roll it out really evenly, because otherwise your cookies are not going to bake at the same time, and you're going to have some that are underdone and some that are overdone. So evenly spread it out, probably about 1/4 of an inch thick. You're going to want to do. So, all right, there we go. We got some dough rolled out nice and flat on the surface. Now, these are the 2 cookie cutters I got the other day. Cute little ghost, cute little pumpkin. You can get whatever you want. It's super easy. Oh, maybe take the stickers off. Probably go a little bit. Now, when you are cutting out the cookies, wow, I really cut myself out of this. When you're cutting out the cookies, you don't want the cookie cutters to stick. So dip them in powdered sugar in this pan. Normally for other cookies, you would dip them in flour. You want to have a pan ready to go. And so just put it in powdered sugar. Cut out a little ghost. Cut out a little pumpkin. And repeat until you fill up your pan. All right, now don't get rid of your scraps, because you're going to re-roll them out, and so you can get all of the cookies you made out of this dough. Since there is powdered sugar involved in this part, you may want to wear your apron again. I did not, but could have been a mistake on my part. There you go. You're going to get your nice cookies. Pop them in the oven. 7 to 12 minutes. All right, now for your cookies, you're going to need a cooling rack to cool them on. Perfect. Look at our nicely done tray of cookies there. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, you grab yourself a spatula, and we'll just get these emptied onto our cooling rack over here. All right, now we all know the best part about this kind of cookies is decorating them. I mean, they're cute without the icing and everything, but they're not anything special. So this is where really where the punch is at. Now you can always go the store-bought route. Obviously you can go store-bought route for anything, but it's a little bit more understandable because it's pretty easy. You maybe aren't gonna have the things that you would need, but why wouldn't you want to go homemade all the way? So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you how to make a real simple icing. Like I was saying, you can find any recipe you want on the internet. This is a recipe I found on the internet and tweaked to kind of make it my own. It is super simple to make. You're going to need 4 tablespoons of butter. That's half of a stick of butter. 2.5 tablespoons of milk, or if you want a little bit richer flavor, you can use heavy cream. I just use the milk that I drink, which is 1% milk. You're going to need 2 cups of powdered sugar, and a teaspoon of vanilla. And then you're going to probably want food coloring, because you're going to want to make, that's just going to give you white, and you're going to want to make fun colors. Like I'm going to be making orange, and I don't know what else, green probably for my pumpkins, maybe a little brown. So okay, super simple. Take your 4 tablespoons of butter. You're going to have a pan, medium-sized pan going over medium heat. Pop in your 4 tablespoons of butter. Get butter on your hands. And then you're also going to want with that your 2.5 tablespoons of milk. So, one, two, Alright, now you're going to want to heat these. Pop your milk back in the fridge. I'm going to heat these over medium heat until the butter is all melted. Alright, once that butter is all melted, you're going to add your vanilla. 1 teaspoon, remember, I like to do generous teaspoons of my vanilla, but there we go. Put that away. And you're going to want to add your 2 cups. Mix that in. Ooh, that smells so good. Vanilla is delicious. Alright, 2 cups of powdered sugar. Yes, this is a lot of sugar. Stir all that sugar in until it is all coated. This looks so good, I could probably just eat it by a spoonful. Don't recommend it. Butter and sugar, pretty much it. Alright, now once you get all that sugar mixed in, you're going to want to take a little lick of your spoon. Ooh! Very sweet, but very good. Alright, and now you just want to move it from your heat, and you're going to want to beat it with an electric mixer. Now, in this case, as much as I love my stand mixer, it's already in the pot like this. Just makes more sense to use a hand mixer. Now that is going to be nice and thick and creamy. And what I'm going to deal with that later, is add some food coloring, separate this out in a little bit of batches, and add some food coloring to make the colors I want for my cookies. Perfect. Look at that nice orange I've got there. That is going to be awesome on my pumpkin. Alright. Oh, still tastes delicious, just in case you were wondering. Plain round tip for mine. Here's a trick that I love for getting my pastry bag full. Now, one way to do it is to hold it in your hand, fold the bag around, scoop it out, and like wipe it on. It's pretty difficult. So, ooh, I'm popular. I got a text. What I like to do is take a cup, plain old drinking cup, Guinness, love it, and fold the plastic down around the edge. This way, you have something besides your hand to support it, so you can use both of your hands in the whole filling process. Usually a spatula works best for this. Grab one of my spatulas. Take this nice orange frosting. Oh my god, that is so gorgeous. Orange is my favorite color, so I'm so excited about this bright orange for my pumpkin. Alright, now you want to work that way down in there. And fold the top of the bag so you have a nice controlled jet of frosting that's going to come out. So there you have it. A little messy, but so much fun. Super easy, way easier than you thought it was going to be. And you end up with super cute homemade cookies. Be a hit wherever you take them. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you learned something. And as always, please subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Nora_Ann. That's ANNE. And let me know what you want to see, what you want to hear me talk about, anything, everything. I appreciate all your comments, even the ones who are telling me I'm going to hell. So have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.